number 9. Is there a motion for approval of the accounts payable?
I make a motion that we approve approval in the amount of $144,218.92 according to state law.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion second. Any discussion regarding the accounts payable for the present?
Nothing concerning the accounts payable, but I do have a question. Remind me what NAFECO is.
What page is that on?
NAFCO.
Fire equipment.
All right. It's on the third page of the check registers.
Okay. Okay.
Along that same line, did that come through a grant? I'm guessing. That's what I thought.
I suspected that, but I wanted to confirm.
Okay. Any other questions? Oh, question on the motion, those in favor, let me know by raising your right hand, please. There are requisitions 1 through 5. Is there a motion for approval of requisitions?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any question or discussion regarding it? Call the question in motion, those in favor, let me know by raising your right hand, please. Okay, you have your financial assessment before you, and Lynn, go ahead and just cover some of the items on there, okay?
Okay. Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. There's been a few changes made to your financial statement. We're going to carry this through the rest of the year. The first is that we added the EMA into the major accounts for review. The second is we have been tasked to keep a manual accounting of the grants and did make a significant impact this month. At the time, we had the sheriff over budget by $78,000 and the EMA over budget by $23,000. But if you look to your left there, the offsets is there's a fire station grant in the amount of $24,273, 2 sheriff grants, one in the amount of $55,817, and the other one in the amount of $28,709. So I'm pleased to report to the board, for the first time that I can ever remember, we have every office under budget. So that is exemplary for those constitutional officers and department managers doing the job that we've asked them to do. In the tax line of credit, we no longer have the tax line of credit. The first asterisk indicates that. The general fund, we have received $1.5 million from Wells Fargo. It's been put into the general fund, and that is the amount of money that we'll have to operate this year. The amount that's in the jail fund is $3,574. In the first splosh, we have $402,771, and in the second splosh, we got $741,882. All these amounts were current as of yesterday. Mr. Chairman, that's all that concludes my summary.
Okay.
I don't know if this will be the time to mention this or not, but yesterday in the legislative update, they talked about that there's a good bit of legislation, hasn't been dropped yet, but it's in the works, concerning SPLOST in general, because so many counties are experiencing, for example, maybe they thought they were going to build a jail and they passed a SPLOST for that, and then when they realized that because of all the requirements, they could continue to do what they were doing cheaper than they could build a new jail and meet all the requirements. That's just an off-the-wall example they used. So therefore, they decided not to, but the way the SPLOST is set up now, they can't use that money for anything else. So they were trying to go in and tweak that a little bit so that possibly, if that happens, it could be put into another project for the county instead of just sitting there because it couldn't be used. They gave several examples of things, and a lot of counties have had that problem, so that's something that's on, a possibility that's on the horizon. I guess when the session ends, we'll see whether and without or not, but I thought that was interesting. Y'all might think it's interesting.
It is.
At one point in time, our supplies had dropped almost 50%, and it's bounced back up a little bit, but at one point in time, if you designated your splice to build something and you come in at 50% less, you would be hard pressed to do that.
Indeed. And of course, the change and the reconciliation of those grant figures, I think we all recognize that this presents more of a truer picture of expenditures in the various areas, and that's something that we as a board need to keep tabs on, and also the definition of the EMA. Well, it's always been there, but we're highlighting it in terms of the presentation. Are there other questions regarding?
One of the examples they used that was really a problem for every county just about was 911 and the flexibility of using it with that.
And some of those, we'll keep our ears and eyes open because those legislative changes, they do impact us as we go forward. Any question regarding the financial report at this time?
We had, got revised total expenditure $450,311. What were those expenditures revised to get that amount, $450,311? How many expenditures were revised? You said total expenditure revised, total expenditure of $450,000.
Where are you looking at, Commissioner Ryan? Total expenditures, first month, January.
I'm looking at what he got here on this fund balance.
My revised total is 365.
365. You got to understand that the revision was due to the taking out the grants funds. The audit trail requires that you move your grant funds so that you can review them. But in terms of expenditure for the particular offices, it was taken out, so that gives you a balance of 365 total expenditures.
Yeah, but this is right here what they gave me. They didn't give me that. What they gave me. This is what I'm looking at.
Beg pardon?
I said, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at mine.
I think we're all looking at the same figure, and I again want to
We're
reiterate.
looking at the same thing.
There's two different. I don't know which one is the one.
I got it.
365 is up here.
I see the 365 right here, but this is the one I
Okay.
had.
If you have something additional or different information, I don't know where it's coming from. I think has everyone got the figures that I see here of
That must be the one before the revised.
365?
Then he went back and revised it, and that's.
They sent me this one here first. Then they went back and revised after I received this
Oh,
one.
did you get that one in your packet? I didn't get one in mine.
I got it.
I didn't get one in my packet.
Mr. Chairman, the confusion results is, yesterday when we did the first iteration, the packages were put around the table for y'all to review. It appears that he picked it up because this morning when I came in, the only one missing was Commissioner Bryant.
Okay.
So in making sure, in the absence of prudence, that he had a package, we went ahead and made him another package.
All right.
Which incorporated the changes that we just revised.
Good. Okay. So the review of the budget of the check docket was done on the grant monies this morning, I believe.
That is
The
correct.
reconciliation of the numbers. That's
What was the grant money?
What's, you know,
the grant monies were identified, and of course, I'm not.
Okay, I
you
see
have
the
that,
share.
regarding what the grants were.
I see the fire station.
Amounts I've given them thus far.
Okay.
I see the fire
The
station.
listing of them for the expense of time, the listing of them are available there if somebody wants to fill it and look at it, okay? Let's move on down to our appointments this day, and we got several for us here.